Hello, my name is Heather Kane. I am here today to talk to you a little bit about therapy animals. The first time that I had ever actually heard about therapy animals was a few years ago when my daughter passed away. I um, there, my daughter Shannon had a friend who fosters kittens and dogs, and she kind of insisted that her and her mom were going to bring over some kittens. And at first I was against it. I was kind of feeling into myself and just wasn't really thinking that I wanted to be very social. But she brought them over nonetheless. And my whole family got together on the floor and just laughed and petted these adorable little kittens. And within an hour, everybody was smiling, everybody was talking, and it just changed things. Every My whole family just felt so much better, even though it was such a dark time for us. And I realized it was just coming in contact with those little fur babies, listening to their purring, and just listening to the rest of my family laughing. And at that time, I thought it was fantastic. And after she left, her and her mother left with the kittens. She actually went on to go do a little bit of school studying about therapy and using animals as therapy. And I wish her the best of luck in that. But she said that session was actually one of the that was the reason that she actually was starting to go into this. Um, so we all called that kitten therapy. I suggest it to anybody if you like cats. But to get back to this, therapy animals. You may ask, what is the difference between a therapy animal and a service animal? There's actually a very big difference. Service animals are defined as the Americans with Disabilities Act defines a service animal as any guide dog, signal dog, or any other animal individually trained to provide assistance to an individual with a disability. So they have a job that is their license, they're certified, they have identification papers, and most importantly, they are not a pet. They have a job, and they do what they have to do. Sometimes you've heard of seeing eye dogs. Sometimes there are animals that sense epileptic seizures, for examples. So, and therapy animals, they're trained, but just not in the most strictest ways. They do have to go to obedience class. They do need to take a temperament examination. You don't want to have animals that are out of control going around and being with children and elderly adults. According to pet partners, they must be at least 1 year old and have lived with their owner for 6 months. And most important, they are not protected by the Americans with Disability Act. You may have heard recently about an animal being tried to taken onto the airplanes and been denied. That's because they do not have these special licenses and they're not protected. So you may wonder what kinds of animals can be considered. Really, it's any animal that can actually de-stress you, to each and every person. There's some examples though: dogs, cats, rabbits, birds, guinea pigs, rats, mini pigs, llamas, alpacas, horses, mini horses, and dolphins, just to name a few. And with the dolphins, I'll actually get back to that with a nice little story. But before that, I wanted to just give you some physical benefits that animal therapy can do for a person. The act of petting animals produces an automatic relaxation response. It stabilizes blood pressure, reduces the risk of heart disease, heart attacks, and strokes. It improves cardiovascular health altogether. Actually slows breathing in those that are anxious. And my favorite is that it releases many hormones such as phenylethylamine, which has the same effect as chocolate. So some of the mental health successes are they decrease isolation and depression. Realistically, isolation, when people don't know how to talk to other people, sometimes it's just a little bit easier to talk about their animal, their service animal, their pet. It's easier to discuss it with other people. People love talking about animals. Maybe a little too much. Therapy animals, they cause many to feel calm, bridges communication gaps, which I was just saying about isolation and stuff, provides comfort, reduces boredom, lowers anxiety, and decreases agitation. Creates motivation for anybody to recover faster. People sometimes they'll say that they live for their animals, and sometimes that is absolutely true. And they reduce loneliness, and big one is that they diminish emotional pain in seniors. So, all good. Everybody can benefit from therapy animals. One little story, though, I did read, I thought it was really quite amazing, was that there is a camp I found this story on the Associated Press. It's called Dolphin Therapy Used for Autistic and Developmentally Challenged Children. Now, the statistics were amazing. Here they are. They're 90% became calmer and more focused, and attention span is increased. That's amazing in any child. 80% of children with autism began pronouncing words and expressions and communicating better in general. 75% of the parents of children with autism indicated an improvement of eye contact, smiling, laughing, and touching, which is absolutely amazing. That is a huge breakthrough. Most children with autism have very big sensitivity issues, either with emotions or touch. And 75% overall have improved emotionally with their behavior, confidence, and self-esteem after this dolphin therapy. I think that is absolutely fantastic. So I will just kind of sum up here by just telling you about how anybody at all can benefit from animal therapy. It increases socialization. It encourages communication, which I know a lot of people have issues with in this day and age when everybody wants to just talk on their phone. But people can talk to their animals. Animals don't judge. They just want love, and they just want to give it back. Helps people focus. Brings people back into the present. They're not just thinking about the past. They're not thinking about just, the things that they did wrong. They're back here. They're talking to their animals. They're giving love. They're just really great. Inner contentment may not be verbally expressed, but can be seen by eating better, sleeping better, and greater cooperation. It increases they increase movement in joints and recovering faster. You got to get out. You got to walk your dog. You want to go out and get some food for your animals, or whatever kind it is. It gets you going. When you just don't want to, sometimes you have to, and that's a reason to. And it just provides motivation to move more, stretch farther, and exercise longer. We can all do a little bit of that, and I think that that will sum up why I just think that therapy animals are fantastic, and I I think that everybody should just consider it. If they ever need some help, some communication, some touch, some feeling, you know, talk to somebody that has an animal, a pet that is gentle. I think everybody can get a little bit out of this. So, all right, my husband is here, and I just wanted to say thank you for listening to my speech. Thanks.